Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squad for boxing news and views from around the internet. Disappointing news in the heavyweight division with Joseph Parker pulling out of his fight with Derek Chisora on October the 26th due to illness. So his promoter Eddie Hearn has confirmed on social media, see here on screen, due to illness, Joseph Parker is out of the Derek Chisora fight on October 26th. We are working on a suitable replacement and will make a further announcement this week. #boxing. And Dan Raphael has gone a little bit further, saying former heavyweight world titleist Joseph Parker has been ill for much of the last week and unable to train. He and his team believe it was caused by a spider bite. So he has withdrawn from a fight with Derek Chisora that was scheduled to take place on, and then he goes to his link, his ESPN story, and we know it was on October the 26th. And Joseph Parker himself, he has retweeted Eddie Hearn's tweet that was put out. So this is a very disappointing outcome for Joseph Parker, and I'm sure Derek Chisora is going to be coming out very strongly on social media, and I'm sure it will be along the tenor of he didn't want to fight him and he was being chicken, all this sort of stuff. You can sort of see it now. But it's a disappointing result for all involved because this was a very good crossroads fight in the heavyweight division. Joseph Parker, after having been a champion, held the belt, the WBO strap, for about a year or so, lost it to Anthony Joshua, had a close fight with Dillian Whyte but lost it. He was trying to get back to a point in the heavyweight division to contend again for a title. And this fight with Derek Chisora offered him the way back to a bigger fight. And for Chisora himself, it was a crossroads fight. Obviously, he had a good win over Artis Bilka earlier this year, knockout loss to Dillian Whyte at the end of 2018, but he also had a good win in 2018 over Carlos Takam. So he's proven that he's still in good form. He put on a good fight with all three of those guys I just mentioned, and it must be noted he was beating Dillian Whyte on two of the scorecards before he was knocked out. So, this would have been a good fight for him to prove that he's still got something left and still have a couple of good money fights before the end of his career. But obviously a loss for either would have been a bit of a bitter blow. So it was an intriguing fight, and Joseph Parker and Derek Ward Chisora had obviously said to the public, we are going to go to war on October the 26th and going to put on a good show. I think there was many people who were expecting Joseph Parker, including myself, would probably rely more on his boxing and movement to try and get a win over Chisora at any cost. A points win would have been the safest way to get a win over Derek Chisora, especially a guy like Derek Chisora who proved that he can still hold that knockout punch, later in a fight after taking a peppering against Carlos Takam. So really, this is disappointing, and I guess what can we expect for October the 26th for Derek Chisora? Effectively, it's 3 weeks' notice, so perhaps not much. And bear in mind, that card, which has been headlined by Josh Taylor and Regis Prograis, it really was relying to some extent on the co-main event, which was Joseph Parker and Derek Chisora, to help sell that fight. So this is a blow for the card and the potential sort of revenue that it may be able to generate. As I'd said in previous videos, both those fights needed to be sort of cobbled together to really make it a pay-per-view, because obviously the top of the bill, the World Boxing Super Series final between Prograis and Taylor, very good fight, but on its own, it wasn't going to do enough to really bring in the buys. With the Parker and Chisora fight, that was certainly going to help. But Derek Chisora versus some sort of, journeyman of some description, that's not going to really do too much, I think, for a lot of fans who were potentially contemplating buying that pay-per-view. I think the top of the bill is more for hardcore boxing fans who've been following the World Boxing Super Series, and the Chisora and Parker fight were, probably it was more for fans that were wanting to sort of see a bit of a heavyweight dust-up, and they would have been coming for that. So on their own, very good fights, but they needed to be cobbled together to make the pay-per-view. So this is going to potentially hurt. So, I'll be interested to see what Eddie Hearn can do at 3 weeks' notice, because you can't just bring anyone in and expect to, get hundreds of thousands of buys. And it was, Chisora and Parker, they were going to be helping the event quite a bit. So this is a blow for the event. It's a blow for the fighters involved. So yeah, a spider bite apparently putting paid to that fight between Chisora and Parker, and I do hope the former champ Joseph Parker does get well soon. Hopefully they can maybe resurrect this fight at some point. Sometimes there's opportunities and this might just slip away. They may not be able to get this fight done in the future. Timing, it's all about timing. drop a comment loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.